lived in Europe many years ago and was always looking for a way to come back, but it really wasn't possible. The business was in Hollywood, and to do something of the scale that I would like to do, I just couldn't do it. But after the writer's strike in 2008, I sensed the business was changing, the world was changing, and that it would be possible to come here and do a show that would be broadcast in the States. And so I very self-consciously set about figuring out how to do that. And I'd been meeting with the people at Kudos for years. They'd been coming to Hollywood since, I think I first met them in 2002, right after the X-Files ended. And I called them and I said, I think I have an idea, finally, of how I could do this. And it was what became Hunted. It's a spy show, which I love. I grew up watching spy things. And the challenge was to find something that was new and unique, because there have been so many great spy movies and TV shows. And I think there are two things about Hunted that are really unique. One is the central character, Sam, who is a really complex, dysfunctional person, which I think is pretty true to the type of person who would be the type of spy she really is. And that's what I was really interested in, is if you took this type of character, this sort of female-born type character, what would they really be like? If you took them and made them real people with real problems, how did they get that way? What would they be like to interact with? And the deeper I got into that question, the more excited I became about doing this show. So it's very much a character piece in that sense. But the other thing about it that's very unique, that got me very excited, is the world we're living in now has changed quite a bit. It's become a privatized world, and the role of government has become diminished as all these private interests battle for profit and power. And there's all these private security firms, thousands of them, that are private spy agencies. And they go out in the world and they're spying on people, and they don't know who they're spying for. They don't know who their clients are. They don't know whether they're good guys or bad guys. So Sam is employed by one of these private security firms. And that was very interesting to me. It opened up all kinds of storytelling possibilities and heightened the sense of paranoia that I'm very much in touch with from the X-Files, and just personally I'm very much in touch with. So that's what got me excited about Hunted. I think Hunted is more serialized than the X-Files ever was, because I'm so determined to get deep into this character of Sam. But having said that, it does have its own mythology that does continue as long as the series continues, which is who's trying to kill Sam and why. And the answer connects back to some terrible events that happened to her as a child. And so in order for her to figure out this mystery, and literally to save her own life, she's going to have to do the most painful thing for her, which is to go back and look at her childhood and these terrible events that made her the grown woman she is. So that's the mythology of the show, and it connects to this idea I've been talking about how the world has become more privatized and corporatized. There's a conspiracy about that in this show. And then every year, there's one undercover assignment that Sam is sent on. So the first year, that assignment takes place in London, and all 8 episodes deal with that story. But that story will come to an end in the 8th episode. And then next year, knock wood, there'll be a new undercover assignment in another city, somewhere else in Europe. And we'll deal with that story, and that will also come to an end. And then there's a third narrative going on, believe it or not, which is that every week there is a new mystery with a beginning, middle, and end. And so I think viewers can come in and out, and they'll catch up on what the serialized elements are, what they may have missed, but they'll have the satisfaction of, there's a new mystery this week, it's going to be resolved this week. And I think that's what makes it okay for casual viewers to watch. It's hugely different working here in Europe than in Hollywood in many, many ways, and I'm still learning all the differences, to be honest. But in Hollywood, you know, you're part of a big studio and a big broadcaster, and the system works really well. It's very highly financed. It's like a beautifully run factory, and everybody reports to the showrunner. And here, the resources, while our resources are quite generous by UK, European standards, normally things are produced on a smaller scale, a smaller crew. And it's scrappier. It's more like an independent film mentality. And they don't have the showrunner system here. And we've been trying to do this with Kudos as if I were a showrunner in Hollywood. But you don't just snap your fingers and make that happen. People have ways they're used to working. And in this culture, the director's very important. and people are used to having more autonomy in their jobs. And so what I've been trying to do is take the best of the Hollywood system and the best of the European system and find the middle ground. But it's been a learning experience for sure. Honestly, I was worried about having the BBC and HBO Cinemax and Kudos, the three different masters to serve. But much to my surprise and delight, they've been remarkably uniform in their responses. And we've honestly had no problem where one person wanted to go one way and another person wanted to go the other way. Everybody's seen the show the same way, which has made it really pleasant. I mean, it's a very challenging show. The physical ambition of it is great, and the complexity of the characters are great, and the moral ambiguity of everything. As you'll see, it's like a really intricate puzzle, but everybody's sort of signed up to the same imaginary world and working in the same direction.